Live Alive, the wheels fall off. And I'm joined by all my guys at Ground3 Radio. We tapped in DJ Artis, DJ OK on the ones and twos. Talk to them. It's your boy Mike on the mic. We here with another series of interviews for Taco Tuesday. And we got a super special guest in the building. A guy who's been taking over, just straight up taking over and powering the entire city with anything he's doing with his brand. We got one of my favorite guys to watch on Instagram, one of my favorite guys to watch build and progress in their own company. We got Powered by Jaylee in the building. Jaylee, what's up, bro?
What's up, bro? I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I super appreciate you coming through the studio, spend some time with us. You got your mans with you. I appreciate you guys coming through. You know what I'm saying? So I want to get into, some stuff about your company, some stuff about your brand, but I want to take it earlier. Every time I get somebody in this seat that I respect, I want to get the hero's origin story. So talk to me about how it all started.
Man, so it started when I first got into music, like I was 12. At first I wanted to be an artist, and my mother was my manager. By the time I was like 14, I had a studio.
Okay.
So that was my first little business.
Studio.
I didn't really know what I was doing though.
Right. You 14?
Yeah, back then we ain't had like plugins and
right.
it wasn't.
What was you working with? What was you using?
Sony Acid. That was, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, I think back then it was like 6.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Man.
But so from there, I started, by the time I was like 16, I'm gonna say like 16, I started working with a Def Jam producer by the name of O.C. Moreland. And that was my start, man. I tried to walk away from it once my mom passed.
Yeah.
But it just, shit don't go nowhere. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say
You can't, but it's cool.
Yeah, but
you get one.
Yeah, but it don't go nowhere, man. Just here. Then from there, I went and started managing gospel artists. That's when I discovered I actually enjoyed the management part as well.
That's I Believe, right? I Believe.
Yeah, I Believe. Yeah. And from there, man, we powered. We did.
Yeah. Man, that's dope. That's dope. You said a name, O.C. Moreland. That's what's that? The Bring the Noise program, right?
Of course. That's the program that saved my life.
Yeah. Talk to us about like that influence early, just with music and just kind of showing you the ropes and what it did for you.
Yeah, so Bring the Noise, man, was huge for me. O.C. had came, at the time I was going to Northern. And O.C. had came up there and made a beat, and he like, man, somebody just, a few people just freestyle. And, and that's what I did. I don't know what I said. I don't even know if it was good, right? But, everybody go off of like crowd reaction.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So we locked in from there. From there I learned how to write music. Learned a little bit about production. They also taught us a little bit about the business side. So, man, it was life changing. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, man, that's dope. That's dope. That's crazy. Just like learning how to like put together songs and like. I heard you wanted to be like a rapper early. Like you began like trying to do the rap thing, but you ended up becoming like this A&R like company owner. And I think that's such a crazy progression of like just wanting to be into music, but then finding the role of like kind of sort of directing artists into like their own careers. So I think that's dope. Not many people get to see that. As you know. And I think what your business is like maybe 2 and some change years old so far.
Yeah, 2 years.
And just in 2 years, you know what I'm saying, to be able to do that is like that's monumental.
It's amazing, man.
You know what I mean? So shout out to you. I'm gonna give you flowers while you're sitting in front of me.
I appreciate that.
Sort of the reaction of seeing your mom pass away.
Yeah, man. So early on, my mom was I don't know. She just was strong, man. She was the mom and dad. My father was into the streets, so my father was in prison most of my life. And then he battled with, drug abuse and stuff like that. So my mom always was the one that like held everything down. My mom was married, but her husband was a sucker. So she did everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. I feel like life was okay. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best. It was like a medium.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can't say, man, we were starving. And
Right.
we ain't have clothes to wear. Like that ain't my story.
Right. Yeah.
My life ain't really get challenging until I was 17 and I found my mom dead. That's when my life kind of.
Yes, it took a big turn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine like just the sight of that, and condolences, of course. You know, rest in peace. Because I can only imagine like the stress, the trauma that like moving forward. Like being depressed is probably easy now. You know, after a moment like that. You know, getting into a dark place. Talk to us about like where your mental health was, like where you was, you know, how you was dealing with it.
Man, so back then, I can't even tell you like where I really was mentally, because I was out of it.
Yeah.
Not only that, man, I tried to bury that pain with alcohol, weed. I tried to numb it. It just kept, you know, kept being there. Yeah, man, that joint was dark.
Yeah.
It was different. Yeah.
Man, I can't even imagine, man. But definitely go through all that, you know, taught you to be a different animal when it comes to like being a man now. You know, and I understand you have children.
Yeah.
So like, how does that, you know, losing your mom? Well, I gotta do my research.
My kids
I gotta do my research on you. I ain't gonna lie, it was in a previous interview with him. So
Okay, I got you.
I do want to know, like, from your perspective, like, how does that make you like a father? You know, like, and of course we're gonna get to your business and your brand, but as the person behind, the mind behind the brand, I want to see, you know, how did that affect, you know, your fatherhood, like you being a dad?
Yeah, so I tell people all the time when it comes to fatherhood, I feel like I learn every day. You know, I never had a man to stand in proxy of my dad, like, and really be 10 toes, you know what I'm saying? My mom was that. You know, like when I'm playing catch, it was her. You know, when we wrestling, it was her. Like everything was literally surrounded around my mom, you know what I'm saying? So when I lost her, that was like the world was over. But yeah, man, I feel like it probably make me a little harder on my kids, man. It's like we gotta prepare our kids for the moment we ain't had, right?
Yeah, facts.
So when I was younger, I used to think my mother was mean for how she did certain stuff.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not realizing that she was preparing me for the real world.
Facts.
So I think with me, my focus when it comes to my kids is one, creating a better future for them, right? So that they don't got to endure what I had to endure. You know, I've been homeless, all kinds of shit. So I don't want them to have to go through that.
Right. For sure.
So yeah, man, I think it gave me a balance. You know, it gave me a balance. It made me realize that it's okay to love on your kid. You know, because when you're a young man and you growing up, you don't got your father there talking about, hey son, I love you, hugging you and kissing. So it make me embrace them more, because I understand time is not on our side, man.
Facts. Yeah, people. And one of the things I heard, like in a previous interview, you mentioned, like your experience as being someone homeless makes you want to like help the homeless in the future. Talk to us about some of your plans of helping the homeless once you make what you want to. Yeah,
so I got this one idea that's probably radical and it sounds crazy, but I want to open up like a luxury apartment building, right? But it's strictly for the homeless.
Yeah.
And instead of making it like a shelter, I want it to be like a year-long program. Yeah. Possibly 2. I don't know how long it'll take to break the habits that they have.
Right.
But what I want is I want to introduce them back into a healthy lifestyle. Thanks. You know, they would take classes. They would learn how to get back in the working world, you know, get trained for interviews. Right. So that's really my vision for that, man. I feel like everybody just go out there and hand them a sandwich. Right. What's next?
Exactly.
You know? So I don't want to do that. I want to give you the sandwich, I want to give you a roof over your head, and I want to give you the skills that you need to get back to where you need to be.
Exactly. So you can give the sandwich.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. And I think that's a big thing in Baltimore City. You know, all my listeners that are listening, you know, if you're from Baltimore, you know, like the struggle we have with like poverty, homelessness, you know. And I do want to, you know, at least ask you, like, from your perspective, like being a black man, you know what I'm saying, from Baltimore City, you know, from the mud, you know what I mean, and making your business and making your brand. I want to sort of pick your brain on how that, you know, influences how you make decisions in your company. But before we get there, I got to at least introduce the company to the listeners if they don't know Powered by Jaylee and your management. And I want to talk to you about sort of what is your philosophy for your company right now with the artists you have. So you have BoxCheckk Marty, Muwap, ATM Leek, Brittany Too Raw, Icon to God, Great BabyJ, Lor Dae, Trill Major, like, you know, the list is, you know, pretty stacked. So talk to us about your philosophy with all of these artists.
Yeah, man, so I think the philosophy is simple. We're a family, and we pour into each other. You know, it ain't no big eyes and little U's. Everybody equal. Ain't nobody bigger than nobody, not even me.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, I'm the cameraman, I'm the engineer.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with going to an event holding the camera.
Yeah.
People never know my name. I'm alright with that, you know? So my philosophy, man, is simple. Family first.
Thanks.
And it works.
Like, if you want to part ways with an artist, not specifically anybody that you have now, but say in the past that, you know, people that you've gone different directions with business-wise, how do you sort of go about doing that if you establish a family sort of lifestyle?
Yeah, so in the past, honestly, I never really parted ways, you know. Yeah, so like I'm a God-fearing man too, right? And the best example is Jesus Christ. Like, he ain't hang nobody. He let him hang themselves.
Facts.
So I don't part ways, man. I'm genuine to people, and if they hang themselves, they hang themselves. You know what I'm saying? Back then we wasn't doing paperwork and all that stuff. We was still like getting the foundation together.
Right.
You know, now it's a little different because we really like business driven at this point. You know what I mean?
For sure, as it should be.
Yeah. But man, I don't force people to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I'm great enough. I think the family is great enough. Well, you should want to be here. I shouldn't have to force you to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I feel.
100%. Yeah, I mean, you gotta want it.
Your name, outside of the the credit that's attached to finances, your name is everything. And I'm never gonna tarnish Jaylee the name or Powered the brand. You know, because at the end of the day, when y'all see me, I represent BabyJ, I represent Diesel, like we represent each other. So the last thing we want to do is make each other look bad.
Facts.
You know?
Yeah, man. Okay, so I do want to ask about, you know, I think one of the things we always talk about, like in the music conversation, is like, you know, it's not enough information in the city. Like, I don't think there's enough information for, you know, people to really, you know, be knowledgeable. I think certain looks like the Ose Moreland, you know, like look of like showing you how to write a song, or like giving these like gems, I think is so important that it just does not happen in the city right now. But it happens, I'm not gonna front. There are some people who are given gems for free, just like, you know. But I think there's a lot of like this grab of information, like so that people can't progress or people can't, you know, overtake someone else.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your thoughts of just that, you know, either the lack of information or the inability for people to pass it on to other artists or younger artists.
Yeah, man, I think, first of all, I'm learning that not many people who's here have the knowledge. That's one. You know, I can't give you something I don't have.
Facts.
And another issue is, like you said, you know, like everybody's so scared that the next person gonna get ahead of them, they don't want to get none. So with me early on, any knowledge I had, I just gave it.
Yeah.
And what I learned is though, when you just give somebody something, they take it for granted.
Yeah.
But when they pay for it and they gotta invest, then you giving them knowledge for a reason.
Right.
So that's more the phase I'm in now. Like, I'm willing to give you the knowledge, but
right.
you gotta book a consultation if you ain't in this family. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it's not that I want to get rich off people, but it's just if you're serious about it, you won't be willing to invest in yourself.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So I gave a bunch of game to people that did nothing with it. So I wasted my breath and time. I can't get time back.
Can't get time back. Yeah.
Time is important to me.
Yeah.
if I supposed to see you if I supposed to meet you at 9, then I need that to happen at 9, not 9:15, not 9:30.
8:55 then.
Because every time is money, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I think right now, like, it's an interesting place because, like, I think the industry is really paying attention to Baltimore, at least some Baltimore personalities, I should say, whether they're in music or not. I think Baltimore is in a place where, you know, we could get someone to glow. And I think knowing that knowledge is whether or not you'll stay there. Like, I think, you know, people should be ready in the event that there is some, you know, big, you know, super label comes out and is like, hey, I give you this opportunity. You should be able to know how to navigate a lot of this already. Yeah. And, you know, to be fair, a lot of people haven't really blown because of the lack of that knowledge. Yeah. And so what do you think we've gone wrong in terms of learning what's important for the industry in Baltimore City?
We don't have no mentors here. You know,
okay.
The older guys that did see something, you know, a lot of people stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why my whole philosophy is a little different. We don't get into lanes, like we're creative. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't need to talk to so-and-so to figure out how he did X, Y, Z, because I'm gonna make my own way.
Exactly.
Because they ain't gonna help me.
Yeah.
You know, that fear is, oh, this young guy come, yeah. So what that's gonna leave me?
Yeah, right.
It's gonna leave you in a higher position because I'm gonna pay that homage.
Exactly.
Like, hey, look, this is who taught me. I'm still paying homage to O.C. Moreland.
Exactly.
I was 16 years old.
Exactly.
I'm 34.
Facts.
You follow what I'm saying?
Real talk.
I think that's the issue, is nobody willing to be the big brother. Like, the big brothers are now us. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, yeah. Real talk.
At 34, I don't know if I feel like I should have a bigger brother.
Yeah.
But it just don't work like that.
I feel the same way. I feel like, you know, like, I think the last interview I had, it was just, we were always talking about the bigger guy who already made it, giving back to the younger guys who are coming up, and like the importance of that exchange. Like, that little look is the one look in like 30 careers I could, you know, think about. Like, oh, it was that one moment of that OG telling you that one gem that made you like in that room and you stayed there, you know. But if you never had that conversation, if he never tapped in, if he never looked for you, where would you have been?
Yeah, so,
you know what I mean?
So that's my thing too, man. You know, everybody want to call themselves a boss or a leader, but who's your successor?
Oof.
You know, so that's the trouble I had with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, that successor is important, but not everybody understand what you're willing to put in their hands. Like, the shit is major. I mean, I'm sorry, it's major. You know, like when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, it's something amazing, right?
Yeah.
So you want your successor to be just as great as you.
Yeah.
And to be dedicated, right?
100%.
You feel me? So, like BabyJ, right?
Yeah.
He an artist.
Yeah. Big shout out BabyJ.
You know, the higher BabyJ goes up, BabyJ gonna start his own label.
Facts.
And bring some young boys under him. And then they gonna come up. And then they gonna do the set. This is the system we created.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like the pyramid scheme, but doing it in the right way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like your own business.
Where everybody eat. That's generational wealth right there.
100%. I mean, and I love that you brought in generational wealth, because I peeked at the question before of like, how does being black in Baltimore City, you know, growing up in Baltimore City influence how you run your company? Like, how does blackness play, you know, a role here, like in your mind? Like, how are you viewing sort of the issues we face today and through the lens of your business? Like, what do you think?
What the issues as far as what?
Well, just like poverty, the issue of poverty, the issue of like police brutality, the issue of like racism, like anything that's dealing with the black community. I mean, being in Baltimore City, we've gotten all of it. Like, we've seen all of the things in your own personal way.
I mean, it affects me because, of course, I want to see our people be good, but I don't see it as an issue. Issues can't be fixed. It's an obstacle.
Right. You get around the obstacle.
Yeah, you get around it.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like that's my focus. Like, I make sure I'm getting around the obstacles so that we can get to where we going. You know, I think when we get in that mindset of, because I'm a black man or I'm a black woman, this is harder, that is harder.
Right, yeah.
That creates a mind of defeat.
Yeah,
Ain't
facts.
nothing hard for me. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna get everything that I say I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's my mindset. Even if it don't seem realistic to others, I just believe I can manifest everything I desire, man.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was alluding to more of like being from Baltimore. I feel like I can survive anywhere. You know, like I feel like there's no place anywhere in this country or out that I can't make my own thing happen. And you know, I think at least with my company too, I like try to force myself to remember that like I'm in a place where they didn't want me to be here. You know, like the fact that black people are here is a miracle. Like they tried to exterminate us so many times over, and the fact that we still here is like it's incredible. So I'm a living testament to like my ancestors working hard. So if I'm not working, you know, if I'm not repping Baltimore and like dragging wherever I can and still making money and still being professional, like what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, so at least that's where I was alluding to. But you definitely answered the question.
Did I? Sometimes I talk.
You definitely answered the question.
Right.
It shouldn't be an issue, it's an obstacle.
Yeah, I don't feel like
yeah, for sure.
Man, honestly, bro, I ain't worried about no police.
Explain.
They got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's my job to keep them away from me.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
That's my job, right?
As far as possible.
We know that.
Right.
Every day we wake up, we know that that's what it is, right?
Yeah, facts.
Cool. My problem ain't them, man. We the problem. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we consider problems because we want to do something with our lives. So I think that's more of a stress than police brutality
Facts.
or whatever the case may be. It's more of a stress knowing that my so-called brother is looking at me and hate me because I want to do something great. That's the real threat. Outside of that, I ain't worried about no police.
Yeah. Have you ever had to deal with like that? Like I'm not saying in general, but for your business, have you ever had to deal with like personalities that didn't want to see you? Like
I deal with it all the time. Yeah, like I deal with it all the time, man. I think if people took the time to understand my vision, then they wouldn't have that type of mindset because I'm not only doing this for me or Powered. Like if you watch, like I did one, only did this my second interview ever. Third. This is third. But one thing I always say in each interview what my goal is, and that goal is simple, to turn Baltimore into the next Atlanta. So everything I'm doing is a strategic plan to bring the industry to us because we've been trying to run to them so much.
Facts.
But our city too small down here. It's like Wayne making the noise, and the people that was before us, they made noise here,
right?
But it didn't surpass actually be on their mind, you know?
Right, yeah.
So all right, cool. In order for this to happen, then this means we got to create something that's different, that's gonna send a shock wave through the industry, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And the ultimate goal, because Powered is made up of two sides, it's Powered Music Group and management. The ultimate goal was for Powered to become a major label in Baltimore, so Baltimore no longer had to chase the industry. We'll have it right here.
Thanks.
That's my goal. So I don't know why they hate me. I'm doing this for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's for us. And I mean, you being at the top of the game, you know, with your company and eventually making this, you know, major label in Baltimore is like, I can only imagine what that inspires other young guys who are seeing labels want to do in the city. Like it's like a generational sort of benefit, I think, in my mind of like, if you see a major label in the city, you see people who have direct connections to the industry, it's like, what can I do as a kid watching you do that at 10, 11 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and big shout out to all the kids listening, you know, who look to, you know, black guys, you know, in their success in their companies to pass down some gems, and I think you have done that a few times so far, and I appreciate it. And big shout out to all the kids listening, man, follow your dreams, and you know what I'm saying, work really hard because you never know what ends up popping and ends up blowing for you. You just gotta put your foot down, put your head down, and just keep working. It's on the way. It's on the way. Keep pushing, man.
Man, I feel like 2020 was like the preparation. 21 gave us the warm up.
Okay.
22 was like, yeah, we here.
Okay.
Like y'all can feel us. 23 is our pay. That's our pay year. Like that's the year where we focus on bigger moves. You know. We got some tours coming.
Lor Dae.
Yeah, man. BoxCheckk on tour, starting Monday with Bobby Smurda. So man, like it pretty much is like I feel like the city see us. Now it was time to wake the industry up. Like, hey, we here because I've already seen that the people that's in position to tell the industry, hey, this guy, they ain't gonna do it.
You gotta do it yourself.
So I gotta do it myself. So that's the focus. It's like we got the city turned in. Now we need to get the surrounding states turned in. And maybe 24 we can see if we can get the West Coast turned off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
real talk.
You know, try to come up with strategic plans, man. But I'm excited, bro. Like every year has been nothing but progress.
Man, I love that. I love always upward mobility. I love that. And man, where can they follow you and your business? Powered_by Jaylee, Jaylee on Instagram. Man, you heard it first. Powered by Jaylee is here. Man, always a pleasure talking to you, bro.
Yes, sir.
I super appreciate you coming through.
Yes, sir.
Man, I look forward to just whatever you have planned, and I'm certainly 2023 you're gonna get paid. I love that. I love us getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Working super hard at a high level. So, you know, I'll leave you with a short, sacred Baltimore proverb, and that is keep doing what you're doing. Always.
For sure.
Always. Once again, it's Mike on the mic from the BabyJ podcast with my guys at Ground3 Radio, DJ OK, DJ RTs. Call in at 443-377-1872. Again, the number is 443-377-1872. Leave a message about Powered by Jaylee Music and Management or anything you would like, man. DJ RTs. Rock me out for the one time. Let's go.